Good evening. I call to order the November 7th, 2013 meeting of the Goffstown Board of Selectmen. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're here tonight to clear up just a couple of issues relative to our final budget before we send it off to the Budget Committee. Does someone want to start with an issue that they have? Nick, do you want to?
Sure. First item was on page 24.
That's the right book here.
It's under fleet operations. Under fleet maintenance, line 53250.
Yep.
We had it was at 194. With the spreadsheet that I had presented, it was cut by 10,000 to 184. But I remember when the Public Works Director was here, he had asked that if we were not getting the tractor, that we increase it back to the 194. Yes. For that additional maintenance. And I remember we took the vote to not put the tractor back in, so my assumption at the time, I may have been wrong, but I was under the assumption we were adding that 10,000 back for that additional maintenance.
I would agree.
I don't know.
Can we just have a motion on it if everyone's agreeable to that?
Yes.
Sure. So I'll make a motion to restore the $10,000 to the fleet maintenance, 53250, as the tractor was voted to not be replaced.
So the amount now would be $194,000.
The original 194.
Okay, a motion. Do we have a second?
Okay, I'll second it, but I have a question.
Okay.
So, this number is the same number minus the 10,000 from that, on the fleet maintenance at the 184. That's
Correct.
on the original sheet that
Correct.
we had that time. And there were no other adjustments that we made to this line. Is that correct?
I don't believe so.
I just want to clarify that to make sure that we're not doing something and then we realize that we undid something else. That's all. I just want to make sure that it's
Just
clear.
restoring to the department heads.
But there was nothing else that we made changes.
I can't remember anything else.
Okay, I was just asking because that being Mark's
Yeah, I
department.
think it was just tied to the other truck. If you're purchasing the other truck, then you didn't need the 10,000 there. If you weren't purchasing it.
Right, this reduction
Tractor,
this reduction was made prior to the night when the Public Works Director came in. We had the conversation about the tractor.
Yeah.
And
maybe some anticipated additional maintenance to be done on the older truck. So we
Right,
put it back in.
quick question. We've got fleet maintenance, right? And then we've got tires, lubricants, and you've got equipment maintenance supplies. I mean, is that all developed into one number here?
No.
And you've got 26.5, 23,000, another 20,000. You've got
Well, that's separate.
$60,000, $70,000 down there, which is really should be part of the maintenance, shouldn't it?
No. There's
Well, no,
different
I'm
things.
just saying, you got tires, lubricants, that's all maintenance. It's all
it's separated out.
separated out. I'm just
separated
asking
out,
why.
yeah.
I'm just.
I understand exactly what you're saying. In that perspective, that stuff comes on the maintenance, but the way this is categorized, those items are not included in that line. If you go back.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. It just makes an awful large line when you start looking at the other stuff on that.
Well, then what you need to do is take all those other lines, add them up, and put it into fleet maintenance. It'd be the same thing. If you go back to the presentation by the Public Works Director, they'll give the breakouts of what are in those lines. But we've been down that road.
Yeah.
Right, you have to go to the operations from last year to see those numbers.
Exactly.
Because they're not in, this is a new division.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 4-1-0.
And then the only other things that I had were under CIP, page 30. And I apologize, I think it was because we jumped around from CIP back to this and we never really...
page 30 on the blue sheet, I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Get the right color for it.
Hey,
Yeah,
No,
okay.
we got somebody laying around here.
Which category?
it's under machines, equipment, and vehicles,
Okay.
48,155, I believe.
48155. During the conversation, when we had pushed out engine one, we had talked about the CRF. It had been reduced to, I think, 75 at that point. But that evening, when the chief had given the letter basically saying he was okay with pushing out engine one and also zeroing out the CRF, the discussion turned to that. And I remember I said that it should actually go from 75 to 100,000 because we weren't replacing the engine and we need that additional money in the capital. I think Deputy Hurley was here that evening.
Yes, he was.
For that. So my impression, and I'll just ask the board, my impression was that it was at 100,000, it wasn't zeroed out.
That's what my notes reflect as
It
well.
was at 100,000, let me tell you how it went to zero.
Right.
When the night that you had Nick's proposal and you had the department head's proposal, and then what was the direction given was blend all the three together and come up with a new column, which I did, but there were conflicts. There was that,
Right,
no
and I
motion,
think that
just
was the problem.
a
is we-
statement, and then we had the department head that said he was willing to push it out to save other things. So that's where the conflict was. But it also moves to special article. So if we're going to restore it, we should be looking at the page 2. That's where we would restore it, not under CIP because it's a non-lapsing account. So it would have to be a special article if you want to fund it.
So where would it go on page 2, Sue?
On page 2, we would add it, actually, see where the CRF is up above?
Yep.
Yep,
It was 75,000 last year,
yep,
and it's got a little zero away over to the right.
We would put the
That's where you
100,000.
would put it in.
okay.
And then further down, 53350, roll-off trailers,
Which page are we on?
same page, page 30.
Page 30.
Go back to 30. 533.
Roll-off trailers, yeah.
That was for 4 roll-off trailers, and I remember us having the conversation, because I made the notes, and looking at the video, we all changed our thing, that Carl had said we could do 2 roll-offs
Yeah.
versus 4.
Yeah,
This does say 60.
and his caveat was if he got the tractor back in.
Right.
And he didn't get the tractor back in,
Correct.
so I didn't take out the 2 roll-offs.
Right.
The 60 you're looking at are for the 2 containers, I believe, for 30
Where?
each.
Yeah.
So it go down 3 more lines.
Okay.
The second from the bottom under
Oh, okay. Yeah,
vehicles.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's why I put the 4 back in, because the tractor didn't go in.
That was my understanding, too. And my notes
Do
reflect
we
that.
need 4 roll-offs, new ones, this year?
I guess that was my line of thinking. If you say you can do with 2,
Yeah. I'll keep
doesn't
it at
matter
2.
what else is.
Two. Absolutely.
Can we get some motions?
Yeah, we need. We want to make the
I'll
motion?
I'll make a motion that, under line 53350, for the roll-off trailers, we purchased 2 of them, and the total being $60,000, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
$60,000, Sue.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1-0. Thank you.
And then the last thing I had was the backhoe, right below that. I remember the conversation that we had, and it was combined with, it was very early on in our budget discussions, we had talked about taking money from the road plan for this. And then we kind of stopped and said, well, let's figure out what the road plan's going to be first. And we did that, but we never came back to this line.
That's exactly like it wrote right here, Carl was willing to swap this out for part of his money from the road plan.
Right, and so we cut 1.7 million from the road plan, so that's why I assumed
Right.
that was in.
Right, because we had that discussion when the road plan was calculated at 1.5 million,
Right.
not when it was down to 1 million.
Right, it's down to 1 million, so that's why I thought you were putting it in. But that's the board's decision.
My note says that we're going to take it from the road plan.
Oh, purchase the
He was gonna take-
backhoe
take
from
money
the
From
road
he was
plan
gonna
money?
take the money from the road
From the
plan
road
money.
plan.
Oh,
to
that's
reduce
not
the-
what I understood.
reduce the road
Okay.
Yeah, so he's gonna get another $110,000.
That's not what I
Right,
understood.
right, but my understanding was that we were gonna do that when the road plan was at 1.5 million.
Yeah,
The road plan did not get reduced to 1 million till the end.
yeah.
Which is my line of thinking, which is why I suggested that we do the road plan first, because if we look at the budget and the road plan we felt needed to be at 100, then you work from there and allocate money to
100.
other.
$1 million?
I mean, $1 million, I'm sorry, not 100.
Just add a couple zeros. that'd be
Well,
okay.
But at 2.7 million, you could take a lot from the road
Oh,
plan
yes.
and fund a lot of things,
Well-
and then,
I think the discussion that we had was, I think everybody's pretty much on board not having the road plan go below 1 million. That's why we
Right.
were doing the calculation at the 1.5, hoping that we could do it and taking a look at it. And, because there was even a discussion, I even brought up to drop the road plan instead of the 1 million to 1.3 at one point.
Where are we now? $1 million for the road plan right now? Well, let's put $1,110,000 in. If we really need to have the backhoe, it better $1,000,001. Let's take the 10 and throw that away. So we'll give him $1,000,001.
it would be cleaner then if you just leave it in the backhoe line.
Yeah, it would be,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
do that, but I mean, just,
Well, the backhoe's important. I mean, Carl said that was,
Yeah.
top priority for him.
Yeah.
And could do without the new tractor, as long as he got the new backhoe, that was a higher priority, so. Yeah, I think we just leave it in as a line. and
Yep.
See, we need to mess around with the road plan, leave the road plan as it is and just add that in as a new line.
Because I think the biggest mistake is to try to manipulate the road plan to fund other things, because then it just looks like it's a slush fund.
Now, keep it clean, I would recommend, but I'll entertain a motion.
The motion to restore the 100 and, no, it's not even restore, because it wasn't in for this
it's
year.
in already, yeah.
It was in next year, so to move up. Because CIP
And it moved out.
moved it out,
Right,
Yeah, we don't have to
Right.
restore it, CIP.
we
it
want to
moved
move
it out.
it back in.
so the motion would be
But
to
you
move
already
it.
voted on this column with it in on Monday night.
Right.
So I don't think any action's required.
It's
Oh,
it's
okay.
already
Have
in.
to make Changes now.
Okay, that's all I had. Those were the only items I
Okay,
had.
so now you mentioned the capital reserve fund, but then no motion's been taken on that yet.
So the motion to put the capital reserve fund at $100,000.
I thought we'd done take
Yeah.
care of that.
I thought we did, but
Yeah, that's.
It has to be a
That's gonna be,
capital.
that's gonna be an article to vote on, right?
Right.
It's not- Okay.
Yeah, it has to be, because
Yep.
it's money going into a non-lapsing fund. So that would be on page 2. So Nick, is that a motion to fund the fire capital reserve fund at 1 million?
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
No,
yeah,
yeah,
100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, we,
Almost got a million there, chief.
Okay,
I'll give you the
so we have a
20.
motion on the floor, I have a second?
Yes, sir.
All right, any discussion on that motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Anything else?
That was all I had.
That's it. I had the fire truck and the roll-offs. That's the only two things I saw.
Joe, do you have anything?
No, I'm all set.
Alan?
we're pretty clean. I looked at this, most of this over, so.
All set.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
No, I think we had,
Oh, they're
I don't
letting the
think so.
flashboards out of Kelly Falls Dam, probably the end of next week, where they hold off a week to accommodate, well, they're doing regular maintenance, but they, at the same time, they're going to accommodate a resident down there who had applied for an extension of the deadline. Does the board wish to extend that deadline to the STAG grant? Because I don't think they're gonna go forward with unless they know they're going to get,
To what? When would the extension? To?
End of the month.
yeah,
till the water is,
End of the month, I think, is.
Yeah, in the month of November, that's pretty fair.
When are they coming down?
well, they were gonna do
Now, right?
regular maintenance, next Thursday and Friday, and let the flashboards out. But if she can't coordinate a contractor by then,
Yes.
they'll wait another week to do that.
Well, that's why I was asking, so this ought to be able to be completed
the end
by,
of the month. Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
once it's down, it won't take long to.
but let's just make sure that it's a
lot of people
firm,
drop
it's a
things
firm
into work,
date.
that's all.
yes.
By the
Yeah, November 30th.
November
November
30th. November 30th.
Motion?
yes, please.
I'll make that motion. We go no further than November 30th on the STAG grant, so that the
Final deadline.
final deadline,
Due
so
to
that,
their personal
yeah,
circumstances.
all the digging can get done, whatever, get done.
Okay, a second?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And
Opposed?
Oh.
No, I was gonna say, before my motion you accept my motion to adjourn, I just wanted to brief
Wait a
the
minute,
board.
Wait a minute.
And
All
there's
those in
one
favor
of-
say aye.
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 So, I'm sorry, I thought you
And
took the
oppo-
vote
and
already.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0.
I thought you took the
now-
vote.
No, wait, we have one other
One
thing.
more
I have
thing.
one more staggering,
One more.
okay, since we're on
Fine.
stag, and then you can have the floor.
You can have it, Phil. We're gonna get you, Phil, no matter what happens.
No, you said you guys wanted to be out here in 20 minutes. He's gotta be out by 5:30.
The other one was, this person did do the hookup with Manchester Waterworks and had it done on August 22nd, but just submitted the paperwork today. So,
I think.
can we,
Motion to accept the paperwork for
thank
reimbursement.
you.
I'll second it.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, I just wanted to give the board an update on Saturday's dedication ceremony, where we are with that. The program will be discussions and the unveiling will be at the roundabout. The traffic will be diverted from Manchester up towards the village, will be diverted to the left side of the roundabout. The traffic coming from the village area down to Manchester will continue its normal pattern, but it'll be alternated between the two, okay? That will happen prior, about, I believe, 10:30. They're planning to be out there doing that. We anticipate the ceremony to be about 30 minutes. It might be a little bit longer. Then we'll have to, obviously, the setup will have to be taken down because we're going to have some sound equipment there. Then, after the unveiling ceremony there, we're going to be moving down towards the Grassmere Town Hall, where the flagpole is, across the street. From that point, there will be the Pledge of Allegiance and a salute and the firing of the Molly Stark cannon over the cemetery. At that point, the road will be closed, I'm assuming probably from Terrell Hill Road to the roundabout in that area. When the Molly Stark cannon comes in prior to the ceremony, we'll be pulling in and parking the cannon just to the Manchester side of the church. That's in there. So
Break any windows.
Question,
that's why it's being fired where it is.
anyone wanting to attend, where would they park?
That's a good question.
Please carpool.
Yes, yes, if you can park in that driveway that you know, that would help, because we don't have no clue of how many people will be there.
Will there be portions of the parking lot open? On the left
There,
hand?
there will be portions of the parking lot open, and I'm not sure of the distance that's being required between police and fire, in conjunction with the New Boston Artillery Company as far as distances from the cannon. I'm not sure of that. And
We'll have the area.
coned off, probably?
Yeah, coned off and taped off, well prior to the event.
What about the street before you get to the circle on the left-hand side? What's that? You know, the road
Is it about Henry Bridge?
where Bruce Rand lives there, right on the corner there.
Oh, Juniper.
Juniper?
Ju-
You could park, I would think, in there on that road on one side or the other. It's not that far to walk from there over to
Well,
I mean, for some, it wouldn't be, I'm just,
When you talk about the parking lot, you're talking about Grassmere Town Hall?
right,
parking lot?
we're talking about the parking lot
Across the
by the
Across the street.
cemetery.
And across the street.
Right.
What about, isn't there a church on Henry Bridge? People, if we called them, maybe they'd allow people to park there.
It's a walk, but it's not too far.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a possibility.
Okay, I'm trying to
That's
think
a
what else is in
possibility.
that area.
I have no idea.
school's not far if you took a bus from it.
Well,
You may get that many people, you don't know.
you know, I mean, it's been tough trying to get a date where other things aren't, you know, there aren't conflicts within the community.
Right.
And getting, I mean, unfortunately, this date of Saturday is also a regional meeting for the Sons of the American Revolution, which includes the Daughters of the American Revolution. So they can't be in attendance, but Ben Hampton will be there on their behalf.
I mean, I think people are just gonna have to find places wherever they can find them. I mean, we'll do the best
Step
we
them off the
can.
road and park them and go for it, and hopefully
What else to say? I
it'll
just
just be helter-skelter.
try
A
and direct.
carpool if you can.
And be mindful of the store.
Yeah.
'Cause
Of the
they're,
what?
the
Store. Don't park
Crestmore
in the
General
store.
Store,
Right.
because they're open for business.
Business, right.
Right, and I've been going down, and the difficulty now is that we're on daylight, it gets dark earlier, I don't like to go up to people's homes and when it's dark. During the daylight, they're at work, so I try to get that window that I'm there where it's not too dark, to try to let them know personally what's going on, but that's what I'm in the process of doing. So, with that, if there's no more questions, I'll make, I already made the motion, I was just waiting for the chairman to accept it.
We need a second.
I'll second it. Okay,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 500. Thank
Supposed to
you.
be good weather, too, on Saturday.
It's supposed to be reasonably nice, yeah.